Nationals in Gainesville, Florida. I'm standing here with Joe Lepone. Joe, how many years have you been involved in racing?
Since I was 17.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So we're saying probably 20 years, or?
That's very close, yeah.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit about Pro Stock.
Basically, it's a 2,350-pound car, runs on gasoline, 500 cubic inches.
500 cubic inches.
Makes about 1,150 horsepower.
Wow.
And the good thing about Pro Stock is, believe it or not, we help you get fuel mileage in your regular cars. Because with limited cubic inches, we have to make the engines more efficient to make more power.
Exactly.
And thus, there's a lot of communication with the car manufacturers with some of the things that we do. And if you can make an engine more efficient, you get better economy. We do a tremendous amount of research on friction. You have to realize that we do put a 500 cubic inch engine through probably 100,000 miles in 7 seconds.
Wow.
There's a lot of friction control devices. We started using Bell products 2 years ago. We started out using it in our tractor trailer, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
That's right behind us. It has a 425 horsepower Caterpillar engine, which was probably getting around 5 to 5.25 miles per gallon. We started to use the extra lube in fuel, and believe it or not, the thing picked up almost 3/4 mile per gallon.
So you were using both the extra lube in the engine and the
Right.
diesel in the fuel.
Right, the diesel and the fuel, right, that's correct. And maybe, you know, to a lot of people out there, 1/2 to 3/4 mile a gallon doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're dealing with 5, that's 20%.
That's incredible.
Okay? And a 20% savings in this truck and fuel is over $2,500 a year.
Wow, that's a lot of fuel.
We put the stuff in the transmission and the rears, and we definitely noticed a marked difference in the temperature, the operating temperature of the transmission and the rear, them being lower, of course, so obviously that helps with friction and making the engine more efficient.
Do you know how many degrees, or any way to translate that into?
The better part of 15 to 18 degrees, it seemed like.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, now what about the race car?
The race car. After we decided it worked in the truck.
That's good, I like that.
We started experimenting with in the race engine. This Pro Stock engine has a camshaft that lifts the valve spring, or lifts the valve, almost an inch.
My goodness.
9/10 of an inch.
My goodness.
And what happens is, it takes the spring from this height, and it makes it this height in a very short period of time.
Wow.
This is all due from friction, believe it or not, because it's a 3-piece spring. And it's like when you try to start a fire, there becomes so much friction in between that they lose their tension. And this is what occurs. We definitely noticed a marked improvement in valve spring life. As a matter of fact, since we've been using the Bell product in the crankshaft of that particular engine, we have not replaced any springs.
Right.
And Bell Additives really has a product that does work. I said, and you know, it's just, I really feel good that I can run it in my race car. And if it's doing that to the valve springs, that it's extending the life and lowering the friction, it's also doing that to the engine.
Now, how long would a valve spring last you before you were using our products?
The better part of 3 or 4 runs.
And now they're lasting how long?
There's 20 runs on that engine right now.
Is that
and
right?
it still has the same valve springs.
Still the same ones in it?
Yes.
That's incredible. And how many runs would you get in a season?
We put the better part of 180 runs on. Yeah, the other thing, like I said, is if it's doing that to the valve spring, it's obviously helping the engine turnover easier. And a lot of people don't relate that, you know, okay, we make more horsepower, and how can that help the street car? Well, it's the same thing. It becomes more efficient.
Right.
And if it does help the race car make more horsepower, it's freeing up trapped horsepower. And it would do that to the street car, and you could use less gas to pull out.
Okay. So I guess the bottom line is then that we've improved performance, reliability, dependability of the vehicle and the tow vehicle as well. And we're getting a lot of real savings in dollars as far as the racing operation goes.
If you'd asked me 2 years ago when we first spoke that this was going to happen, I would say, yeah, okay, that would, and I really wouldn't have believed it. But you know, right now,